What's up, everybody, and welcome to the first episode of the San Antonio Spurs MyNBA on this channel. This is a series that I hope to keep going for a long time, and this was the introduction to this series. We're going to go over the team and just look at a few different key players on this team and some potential outcomes of other players that maybe don't have such a big future in San Antonio. And first off, I am going to run an auto-generated rookies class. I might edit some of the players to make them a little more realistic and kind of make it even out where you don't have 55 overalls in the first round completely, and then where you don't have 80s the entire first round. So I will be doing that. I'll probably have some prospect previews once I edit the players out and decide if they're the way I want them to be, and I won't obviously make their overall super high. It'll probably be 75, 77 as the max overall in the draft. So the first thing we're going to look at is just this roster, and the San Antonio roster is an interesting one. Now, the Spurs made the playoffs every year from 1998 to 2019. However, last year in the bubble was the first year, and since that long that they missed the playoffs. So a lot of media and experts are rightfully predicting that the Spurs are kind of on the downfall. They lose most of their roster this year, and just their top two players, 35 and 31, and they're DeMar DeRozan and LaMarcus Aldridge. You're just not going to win much with that. So just take a little preview of the roster. Obviously, DeMar DeRozan, top player on this team, 31. He's on an expiring contract. Future-wise, he's probably not going to be on this team very long. I don't plan on re-signing him. If he wants to take a pay cut to re-sign, I'd be willing to, but definitely not if he's looking for around $30 million. LaMarcus Aldridge, once again, starting center, all-star team a couple years ago, but he's 35 years old. He's on an expiring contract, and he's likely going to want around $25 million again. Just not going to happen for a guy like him that old. So combining these two is our best chance of trading for maybe a high draft pick, a young player at the All-Star break. Likely at least one of these players will be traded. I can't let both of them just walk for nothing. But now we get into the interesting people like DeJounte Murray, Keldon Johnson, and Derek White. Now these are three key pieces for the future of the Spurs and the future of the Spurs in this series. Without these three players, the Spurs would be in a very drastic situation. Obviously, DeJounte Murray, he needs to develop his three just a little bit, but the playmaking, the slashing, the defending, it's all there. He is a top defender in the NBA when healthy. Obviously, he struggled with injuries, but without DeJounte Murray at the point guard, we'd be kind of lost. Keldon Johnson, obviously, a 29th overall pick in 2019. He was a steal for the Spurs, as they always seem to get one of those. Unfortunately, he is kind of lacking on the defensive side of the ball. We do have him for 2 years on a team option. He just needs to develop that defense. But Keldon Johnson, 21 years old, he is a key piece in the future of the Spurs dynasty. And moving on after him, we got Rudy Gay, who, once again, on an expiring contract. If he's willing to sign for maybe another year, $5 million, he's 34. He's not getting any better. He's only going to get worse. He's at the best offensive eighth man in the rotation. He's not going to go out there and give you the 20 he used to be able to get you. Just Rudy Gay is probably not going to be on this team either. He could be packaged in a deal. He could walk. We could re-sign him. We'll just have to see how time will tell. And the third player that I circled out is Derek White. Derek White is 26 years old. He was kind of blown up before the bubble last year, but he really blew up in the bubble last year, and he's just a great all-around player, playmaking, a three-point shooter. He can drive. He can't defend as well as you'd want for a Spurs shooting guard, but he's definitely still a pretty good defender, and he has a future on this team. After those three, unfortunately, it doesn't get much better age-wise, it seems, or talent-wise. Patty Mills, a great backup point guard, a long-time Spur. He's only played 2 years of his long career without the Spurs. I believe he was in Portland. Now, the thing is, Patty Mills, he's getting paid $14 million a year. He's on an expiring contract. He's going to want that same amount of money back, and I just don't know how we'll be able to do that at -22 this year. Devin Vassell, he is a great player too. He's 20 years old. He has a huge future in this team. He's from Florida State, 11th overall pick. Got him for 4 years. Don't expect anything to change in that. He's a 3-and-D. He's gonna be a key piece in this team. Jakob Poeltl, actually one of the most promising players on this team. He's a center, obviously. He used to play for Toronto. He struggled a little bit there, but he did come to San Antonio. He's kind of found his place in this offense and in this defense as a rebounding player, a guy that's just there to get you rebounds and get blocks every once in a while. He's 25, 3 years on his deal. He's getting paid $8 million, which is very good for a center of his caliber, at least. And another promising young player that might even get the start over Derek White, depending on how this offense turns out. Lonnie Walker, 21 years old, out of Miami. 2 years left on his deal. He did spend his first year in the NBA injured. However, I do believe that Lonnie Walker can become a star in this series and in real life. He averaged 2.6 points his first year, obviously because he tore his ACL, or I believe he had a leg injury, I'm pretty sure. And then 6 points last year. He wasn't a huge role in the offense, but I do know that Lonnie Walker can be big in this league. Trey Lyles, 25 years old, power forward, not much to him. He's not lived up to the hype that he got coming out of Kentucky. Stretch four, he's going to shoot threes, not much else he can do. Luka Samanic, a three-point power forward again, 20 years old. Kind of similar to the way Trey Lyles plays, except for he's from Croatia. Obviously, the Spurs love their overseas players. Keita Bates-Diop, a two-way contract player. Had some flashes in Minnesota. He hasn't turned out as he was expected to be, but he's definitely got the potential to be a great player in this league. And finally, we've got Trey Jones and Drew Eubanks. Drew Eubanks, a 68 overall center from Oregon State. He's a rim protector, not going to do much offensively, not going to do much rebounding-wise. Just kind of a reserve, as it goes with Trey Jones, who's a promising prospect, but he probably won't develop into too much. The 11th overall pick from Duke, he's just not really going to have a key place in the future of this team. And now we're just going to take a quick look at the staff on this team and maybe go over a few potential trade destinations for DeMar DeRozan. First off, obviously, Greg Popovich, the head coach of the Spurs. When he retires, it's going to be a sad day. He's always been a Spurs head coach. He's always going to be remembered as the Spurs head coach. And we have a pretty good coaching staff around him, a great scout over there, a pretty good trainer. This coaching staff can definitely lead a championship team. We just need to build the right players around them, and obviously that's my job to do. Now, we're going to put a couple players on the untouchables. The key three are Murray, Johnson, and Derek White. These three players are not going to get traded anytime soon. And now we're going to put two players on the trading block in DeMar DeRozan and LaMarcus Aldridge. Now, these players, like I said earlier, they will probably be here until All-Star break. And one of them, at least, is going to get traded. We need to get value out of one of them, likely going to be DeMar DeRozan. A couple of destinations right off the top of my head. It's maybe like a Orlando Magic trade to get a young player, something like that. Toronto Raptors, send him back to Toronto to play with Lowry. Something like that, just something simple to get us a pick, maybe a young player, a promising player, something like that. Nothing special. He's 31 years old. You're not going to get a superstar out of him. That's going to end this first episode, everybody. I hope you all enjoyed, and if you did, just leave a like down below and comment any ideas, any suggestions for this series going forward, and let me know of any trade ideas, anything like that. And I hope if you guys enjoyed that you'll share this video, hit the subscribe button, tune in to the next episode, and I just want to thank you all for joining me on this first episode, and I'm ready for this journey. Thank you again, and adios.